So what I would like to do is I would like to bring Dr. Rogers to the stage. I'd like to introduce Dr. Rogers.
All right, 1, 2, yeah. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Oh, wait, I don't ask you how you're doing. I've stopped asking people how they're doing. And I've started asking how you're growing. Because if I ask you how you're doing, what are you going to say? You didn't tell me anything. You didn't say anything. But if I ask you how you're growing, that means you took deliberate intention to think about what's going on with yourself to be able to tell me how you're doing. You're articulating your feelings. That's very significant and very important as y'all begin to as you continue to matriculate through your career. And so I want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. And I love you all. No, really, I do. I mean, I love you all because I'm here spending Valentine's Day with you. However, I'd be remiss to not acknowledge my wife who stepped out because I also brought my other Valentine, my baby girl. She's almost 3 months. And so we brought them all in here. This table right here was Goo Gagging over her when she was awake. And what's interesting is I met my wife at the University of South Florida. She was the undergraduate researcher. Oh, she's in the back. Okay, I'll leave you alone. She was the undergraduate the undergraduate student who would later on become my advisor in the PhD program. Okay? And so, of the 3 most important decisions I made in my life, two of them came as a result of going to grad school. 1, obtaining my PhD, and 2, marrying that woman back there. Come on now. Come on, give her a round of applause. Now, while you're still clapping, I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. And the reason why I asked you to give yourself a round of applause is because I know it's not easy. I remember, I was sitting where you all are sitting. I know it's not easy because the first one almost took me out. I was a student athlete and I didn't have a mentor. And my objective was to keep the 3.0 grade point average. That was the objective. Keep the 3.0, get good summer internships, and land a good paying job. That was the goal. I nailed the summer internships. So as an undergraduate, I did internships in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm not ready for this. I was 20 years old. I was driving a 1979 convertible Mercedes-Benz, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment overlooking Pearl Harbor, and they gave me a gas card. 20 years old. I was smelling myself. And so I was making some money. I've been to 20 countries. So I have a very international perspective on life. And that happened as a result of being an undergraduate. The second internship was in South Korea. I was doing an internship with the United States Army Corps of Engineers. And remember that 3.0 GPA I was telling you about? I was trying to keep it. I didn't keep it. As a matter of fact, I graduated in 4 years, but I had a 2.97. Cordless. I was cordless. Didn't have any colored cords, no sashes, no anything. And so when I asked you to applaud yourselves, I did that intentionally because I knew what it meant. Because I had that struggle also. I struggled. I had those late nights. I remember failing those tests. I remember having crying sessions in my apartment. Yes, I did just admit that publicly. All by myself, just... No, it was real. I understand the struggle. I understand the challenges that y'all have gone through. But society always wanted to tell me that, yeah, you don't have this 3.0, so you're below average. Because, that's supposed to be the standard. The standard says if you don't have a 3.0, you're ineligible for funding, you're ineligible for graduate school, and you are below average. Now, if that stigma sticks on you, I'm going to forget about if it sticks. Forget if you're in that situation. I'm going to help share some things with you today that's going to break you free from those things and allow you to understand why you're so much more capable. I'm going to help you understand that. And as I do that, some of you might be in that same position, feeling like you're falling below this grade point average thing. But students, faculty, and staff, GPA does not dictate where you are and where you're going to go. Okay? That's clap worthy. It doesn't. So this is what happened. I knew that there was more ahead. After I graduated and I finished that last internship, all right, yeah, I've got a good paying job waiting for me, or do I go to grad school? Remember, I didn't have that mentor, but I did have somebody in my life by the name of Kareem Hogan. Dr. Lonnie Sharp, when you were at North Carolina A&T, Kareem Hogan was under your jurisdiction. And Kareem Hogan became my mentor. And so look at that. Look at how that works. Someone who knows my face but doesn't know exactly who I am, because of you and what leadership you had in the life of another young student who I reached out to just to confirm, is why I'm standing here today. So this LSAMP network, y'all, is so real. I'm like 20 years into the LSAMP program as an undergrad. Like 20 years later, here I am. That sounds real weird. 20 years later. But it's significant, and it has made a profound impact in my life, because what was done, I've now done. I've graduated at least 5 students who have gone on to get their PhD. Not graduate in the sense of I was their mentor. I've only done that with 1 student. But I've seen those whom I've introduced to what research looks like and take it to the next level. Okay? And I was 1 semester away from completing my master's degree, and I attended the North Carolina LSAMP Undergraduate Research Program. I met a professor in the College of Marine Science. And this professor had said to me, all we did was we talked. We had great fellowship, great communication, and we had some commonalities. She said, I've got this professor down there in Tampa. I want you to meet him. I said, okay. So she was telling me about what he did. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And they came back up 2 weeks later. She called me like at 9 o'clock, said, we're going to be up there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I want you to come and meet us. I said, sure. So I come up there and I meet them, and he introduced himself. I introduced myself. He said, I've heard some things about you. They've never seen a transcript. They've never seen a resume. All they did was just have some communication with me, some conversation. I'm speaking about this LSAMP network that y'all are all in right now. 3 months later, I was in Tampa, Florida. Oh, and did I mention that this field of study that I was going to work towards the PhD in, I never heard of it before. I never heard of MEMS, microelectromechanical systems. I never heard of material science and nanoparticles and evanescent waves, which is the physics. I never heard of any of this stuff. I never heard of micromachining accelerometers and cantilevers. I never heard of any of that stuff. Piezoelectrics. I never heard of a silicon wafer. Now, here's a perspective. One of the things that I was known for was, women have their accessories, the necklace, the earrings. Me, it was glasses. Glasses. So I can see you all clearly. Just match my outfit, they're navy blue. Let me take those off. When I was doing a PhD program, I was looking like this, y'all. Yeah. I was circling it up, all right? I was doing it like this. It looked distinguished. I didn't start the bow ties until I finished the PhD because I wanted a signature moniker, and so I actually make my own bow ties. I literally sit down at sewing machine, sew them up. I even have, I sell them, the Rogers collection, that's what I'm saying. And so, so again, it's this perspective thing. It's this perspective on the glasses, because in 2018, I had my eye exam done. In 2019, I went to the same optometrist and had my eye exam again. And you know what she told me? You don't need glasses anymore. You have 20/20 vision. My vision got clearer. There's something about when you have goals and when you have objectives and when you have things in your life that allow you to have a vision and a plan and purpose for your life that gives you clarity. I'm going to share with you something that if it was shared with me, there wouldn't have been any hesitation in my academic and professional career. So I want to add some value to your lives today, okay? I want to add some values. But before I do that, there are 3 prerequisites. 3 prerequisites that you need to hear. Number 1, 3 prerequisites. These are things that you want to remember. Somebody has already endured the challenges that you're presently facing. I did it. Somebody's already endured the challenges that you're facing. Number 2, those challenges have already been overcome. I did it. And number 3, an advanced degree is meaningful. How is it that you can begin to prepare yourself for this graduate experience? These are some of the things I want you to recognize. Number one is obtain a mentor. Imagine this. Your first year in college, it's a big adjustment, isn't it? It's a big adjustment. It's no longer high school. You must be proactive. And in being proactive, try this. Try introducing yourselves to every faculty member in your department. Why would you do that? Well, now they know who you are. You're not trying to get anything. All you're saying is, hey, my name is Al-Aakhir Rogers, and I'm a freshman, and I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm not 100% sure what I wanted to do, but I know at some point I'm going to come through your class, and I just wanted to say hello and introduce myself to you. It's the first start. You'll see why it's important. You'll see. When you do something like that, a faculty member, they're going to take note of that initiative. I'm speaking if a young student did that with me, I'm going to remember them. Why? Because not many are going to do it. It doesn't have to be your freshman. It could be your sophomore. It could be your junior. It could be your senior. It doesn't matter. But that kind of initiative is noted because we're always looking for someone who really wants it. Number two, identify research interests. How do you identify research interests? How? Oftentimes we hear about knowing your why. The why is one thing, but the how is an entire different thing. How do you tangibly identify how something's done? How do you obtain research interests? I've got something for you. This is what you do. You go on your department's webpage. Under research, you're going to see the faculty members. And all you do is read. Because guess what? You know you want to do something. You know you have a passion for something, but that's something you can't articulate, nor can you necessarily express it yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. I couldn't express it until I started my PhD. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I'm okay with that, because I'm sharing with you things that I wish somebody would have shared with me before then. So how do you identify some research interest? You go on the department's website, and you look at the research, and you just go through the different faculty members, and you look and you see what catches your interest. That's the best place to start. Why? You don't have to end up doing something you don't like. You know how important it is to not do something you don't like? It's the difference between saying, I'm going to get my PhD, and man, I'm glad that's done. And you'll understand why that I'm glad that's done is not the attitude you want to have. You'll understand why in a little bit. At this point, you're already ahead of the game. You're already ahead of the curve. You have a mentor. You've identified mentor opportunities. You've identified something that you're interested in. You're really interested in it because you read it and no one told you about it. You found the interest that lied within you just by giving a little direction on how to go about finding it. Oh, don't forget those prerequisites. Don't forget the prerequisites. Number one, somebody has already endured the challenges that you're currently and or are going to face. And number two, those challenges have been overcome. Who remembers number three? An advanced degree is meaningful. Let me explain why an advanced degree is meaningful. An advanced degree, it promotes critical thinking in a very different way. Oftentimes, you're trying to solve a problem that hasn't been solved before. That was the case of me and my PhD. It had never been done. The title of my dissertation was Evanescent Wave Coupling Using Variable Period Subwavelength Gratings for an Optical MEMS Accelerometer. Yeah, that's how I felt when I was in your shoes. Okay, you're becoming a self-learner. That's real critical, y'all. And you'll understand why. Now, the second part of why an advanced degree is meaningful. An advanced degree is very autonomous. This is the nature of it. It has to do with personal and academic time management. That's critical. Another reason why, when a company hires you fresh out of school, they're paying you to learn what they want you to learn. They're paying you to do what it is that they want you to do. This advanced degree, and I'm speaking from experience, makes the difference. How many of y'all would like a extra $20,000 to $30,000 in your annual salary just from a few extra years in school? So an advanced degree really is worth it. Not to mention I'll get there. That additional $20,000 to $30,000, who said an advanced degree is not valuable? It's not beneficial for you. Who told you to lie that there aren't any jobs out there for you? Who told you that you was overqualified and you're not going? Who told you that? Who told you that? Because it's not true. There are plenty of jobs out there for those who are holding those advanced terminal degrees. Not to mention, once you get into the research, there's this passion and there is this ignitable fire on the inside. It's like, woo! Didn't we have a good time at your poster yesterday, Ashley? We had a good old time, didn't we? We had a good old time at her poster yesterday. Did you learn something? I learned something. Okay? That's significant. That's very important. And it stays a part of you. Who said that? Who said I'm disadvantaged because my daddy was locked up growing up? Who said that I was disadvantaged because my mom was a single mom? Who said I'm disadvantaged for any of the reasons that I would give them power over me to do that for? Don't listen to that. That's noise. You want to put a bandpass filter on that. Okay? Now, graduate school preparation. How? You know, every single one of these things, I said obtain a mentor, I said identify research interests, and now I'm saying graduate school preparation. And after every one of them, I gave you a how. The how to do it. Hey, y'all, check this out. This has already been tried, tested, and proven. I'm not telling you something I think. I'm telling you something that people have implemented, and it has worked. How do you prepare for grad school? Well, number one thing is you plan to take that GRE early. So what does that look like? You can no, not what you can do, what you should do. Go on YouTube and do some GRE prep. You don't have to go to the library anymore and get that book and go through it. You can, that's not going to hurt you. But now you can go on YouTube and you can data dump to familiarize yourself, because repetition is critical when you're doing these types of academic learnings. Your brain is accustomed to learning differently than how these standardized tests want you to perform. And so you have to get this in your head. Even if you're just listening to it, you have to get how they're presenting it to you in your head. Okay, that's one of the first things you can do. Secondly, you can go to the library again and check out that big old book. OLE', big old book. Okay? You've already been exposed to research at this point. Remember, you identified the mentor. You went on the website and you figured out what kind of research interests that you have. And now you're comfortable doing different things. Last thing, commit to the completion of the MSD, the MS and the PhD. You have to commit to it. I was asking a near and dear friend of mine who's over here recording. And I said, if you could do it all over again, would you have stayed all the way and got it? She said, I would have went into a different program. When you're empowered to know that your academic direction is something that you have an opportunity to weigh in on, you're going to do what's in your best interests. I've seen a lot of people over the years throughout the different PhD programs switch. I've seen a lot of drop out. When you commit to complete this process, in 2016, 11.5% of underrepresented minorities obtained doctorate degrees in STEM. And that's a small number if y'all don't realize that. You become a part of a very select group when you get a PhD. I'm all for the PhD, y'all. Listen, oh my goodness. I've shared just a little bit of what I believe are best practices to really prepare you and mitigate some of the noise in between. If you really desire to see a different change in the communities that you come from, to see a change in how you can see life, consider and take it under serious advisement to go do the PhD. Is it easy? No. No. But with support, it makes it that much more doable. You're positioned to succeed. You've become and you've identified a mentor. You've done your homework. You're finding interest in what it is you want to do research. You have to commit and complete the process. You're positioned to succeed. Now, here's the last thing you have to do. You just have to show up. You have to show up to know that you're capable of doing it. And once you show up, there are other people who are already there that recognize that you're in the room. And family takes care of family, so we're going to make sure we help you along the way. Funding isn't really the biggest mitigating factor. It's, are you ready to show up? I want y'all to show up today, okay? I'm Dr. Al-Aakhir Rogers. I hope that was beneficial to you.